Hello, my Aloha tribe, and welcome to the Aloha Perspective. Happy Monday! It is Monday, and it is older sibling's birthday. Happy birthday, older sibling. Sorry, hair issues. Hair issues. All right, hey, right? It's the mirror image, guys. I'm still, still not used to it. It drives me nuts. But it was suggested, and actually, the reason I did it today was so everybody could see my cup. Can everyone see my screen? Sorry. Alright, it's going to be a Monday. And you're on mute. So all the things we yelled at, right? The screen during Zooms and everything. So, alright, let's see. La 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 la. Alright, so today, to start with, I have the Kuan Yin transmission cards, and then we're going to get into our topic today. I'm going to continue with the mental health aspect, and we're going to talk a little bit more. So today will, I guess, in its own way, be Mental Health Monday. So there you go. There you go. So anyways, now that you have seen, there you go. Now that you've seen my, my cup, you're just going to have to deal with the fact that it's backwards. So, you know what? I have to say though, I've been doing it that way for so long, it just feels like a trademark now, doesn't it? Like, oh my god, all of Shelly Marie's stuff is backwards. So, we have 3 cards. First one. Rather than relying on plans and predictions, trust in my spontaneous outpouring of grace that responds to your needs. The best assistance is always provided for you at the perfect time. Excuse me. Good Lord, and in the perfect way. So again, rather than relying on plans and predictions, trust in my spontaneous outpouring of grace that responds to your needs. The best assistance is always provided for you at the perfect time and in the perfect way. Now remember, these are from Kuan Yin. It's spelled with a K here, but a lot of times it's spelled with a Q as well. So, and it's healing guidance, excuse me, from our Universal Mother, connecting with the sacred feminine. Oh, these are from Alana Fairchild as well. I really like her. She does the Rumi deck. So, anyways, anywho, let's see. Oh, it's so funny. I looked at the clock and I thought, oh my god, I've been on for so long. It's like, hello. I was celebrating older sibling's birthday this morning, so got my coffee too. Self-liberation. Nothing you could do would cause me to turn away from you. Liberate yourself from judgment. When you choose to believe you are worthy, you empower your grace in your life. And the last one, patience. I am patience, born of wisdom, for I know what you shall be. I wait for your readiness. I shall never tire of encouraging and believing in you. Your soul is held in my hand. So this is Kuan Yin saying, she'll wait as long as it takes for you to get on board with who you are. In fact, I had a great quote from Carl Jung. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. So, that's what we got from Kuan Yin. I like the Kuan Yin deck. I really do. She's one of my favorites. So, again, I know it's backwards, guys, but I had it flipped earlier so you could see the cup, but I love that cup. In fact, my friend Charlie got it for me. So anyways, all right. So today I'm continuing on. Oh, Charlie's on. Wow. Wow. What a lucky thing, right? Because I have different cups for different days. And today I was just like, I'm going to use this cup because it's smaller. So thank you, my friend. I love it. And you're on mute. So anyways, today is going to kind of be like Mental Health Monday. Like I said, I apologize for being a little late. It is older sibling's birthday, so I was celebrating her this morning with coffee and cake and all that good stuff and presents. So I got this from Mind, Body, Soul UK. Now, Soul is spelled S-O-L-E in their handle. So Mind, Body, Soul UK. And it's kind of a personal perspective, but since May is also Mental Health Month, and it should really be every day, I'm going to cover anxiety today. So last week we did the different stages of depression. We did symptoms to look for, how you can possibly help people, or the signs to look for. And then on Thursday we talked about suicide and got really kind of deep into that. So today it's about anxiety. And anxiety can be really debilitating for some people, but a lot of people just don't understand, how debilitating anxiety can be. I'm personally grateful that I don't have to deal with it very often. I don't have any major anxiety disorders. Sometimes the anxiety comes in with my depression, but it's not something that I have to deal with on a regular basis. And, for that, I'm grateful. It usually seems to come coupled if I go into a spiral. So, and a lot of people are probably saying, well, it doesn't just come and go. For me, surprisingly, it does, or I manage it well. I don't know which one it is, but I know there are some times when I have to push myself, and that feels more like the dinged up mental health than anything else. But, so here's a personal perspective, again, from their handle is Mind, Body, Soul, SOLEUK. And, things people with anxiety wish you knew. Things people with anxiety wish you knew. They can't control it. A lot of people think, oh yeah, well, get over it, or you'll move past it. It's not something they really can control. Now, some people who have anxiety will say, sure it is. But for a lot of people, everybody deals with their anxiety differently. That's why I said this is a personal perspective from this person. But to be honest, I think it really kind of hit home for the times that I've had to deal with my own. And again, it's so infrequent when I have to deal with it. But still, this really kind of just rang a bell in my head. So it's like, ooh, okay, so they can't control it. So be compassionate, all right? Just like last week when I talked about depression, have understanding and patience, okay? Have understanding and patience. You may think that their behavior is annoying, but try being the person that has to deal with the anxiety. Try being them. Put yourself in their shoes for a moment and try to understand where, they're coming from. Telling someone to relax isn't helpful. Seriously, that's like literally going up to somebody and just saying, calm down. It ain't happening. You tell me to calm down, you're just going to push the button in the other direction. So there are very few people in this world that can tell me to calm down. And honestly, I think it's the tone. I truly, truly do. But telling someone to relax isn't helpful. I know sometimes people will come with them, just breathe, relax, blah, blah, blah. And I know they're probably trying to come from a good place. So if you are a person who suffers from anxiety, just tell them, look, you know what, this isn't one of those situations. It's like, I'm not sitting here getting angry because blah, blah, blah. I am literally, my anxiety is flaring up. We're coming to into a day and age where people are a little more attuned to mental health lingo. And so if you say anxiety, just because somebody says they have anxiety, don't go off the deep end and go like, oh my God, do I have to commit you? No. Okay. I mean, people have varying degrees of anxiety, but like I said, treat them with patience and understanding. It can be crippling. Anxiety can be crippling. For some people, anxiety is just, it is, I don't know. I mean, I don't know really how to explain it. For some people, anxiety is so crippling that it's just hard for them to even see straight. I mean, it could send them into a spiral. It could just send them right back to bed where they don't want to leave their bedroom. They don't want to leave their bed, or in, less extreme cases, they don't want to leave their house. Okay. Sometimes, most of the time, they feel anxious for no reason at all. The brain works in extremely mysterious ways. Oh, good morning, Catherine. I'm not sure if older sibling's on yet, but I will definitely let her know you wished her a happy birthday. So, but yeah, sometimes, and in this case, the person that wrote this they feel anxious for no reason at all. Like I said, the brain works in mysterious ways. And there's no accounting for, how an episode of anxiety is going to go, whether it's not going to go, whether it's going to go okay, whether someone is just going to lose their ever-loving mind and just crawl back into bed. The brain is just, it's a mysterious thing. When you have a dinged up mental health, it's even more mysterious. Like I said last week, everybody has their own map to navigate, and some maps may intersect, but for the most part, everybody's journey is very different. Two people with the same diagnosis may have two very different experiences. So, you may have a person that handles their anxiety really well, knows what to do to kind of calm themselves, has a tool or a bunch of tools to get them through. Somebody else may not. And that's why we need to be understanding. That's why we need to be patient. If you are a person with anxiety and you see somebody, offer them some guidance. You can't, some people will sit there, I don't have anxiety, I'm fine, blah, 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 I'm just having a moment. And that's okay. You don't have to sit there and give it a name. What you can do is just say, hey, you know what? When I'm feeling like you're feeling, this is what I do. I don't know if it'll work for you, but hey, you never know. So I know sometimes people will say, you can't offer people advice. Well, you can't, but you know what? When you see somebody really struggling, sometimes you can just sit with them. Okay, some people will be receptive to the the passing on of mental health tools. Some people will not. But we can always hope that it sticks in the back of their brain. And maybe when they're alone, they might think, well, so and so told me to try this, so maybe I'll give it a whirl. So there she is. Good morning, older sibling. So Catherine from Housing Capital, Catherine wished you a very happy birthday. So the next one, they're trying their best. People with anxiety are trying their best. They really, really are. They don't want to miss the fun stuff. They don't want to miss that, all important social butterfly dinner that everybody wants to have. They don't want to miss birthdays. They don't want to miss holidays. They don't want to do this, that, or the other. But sometimes, if you go back a couple, it can be crippling. And sometimes even being in a room with more than 3 or 4 people can really rile up somebody's anxiety and send them spiraling in different directions. So it's just a matter of what they can handle, when they can handle it. And what we can always do is hope that they find the tools, that they do listen to somebody who has the tools, or they get help for it. So that, they can learn how to move through it in a more positive way, because anxiety it's ugly. I mean, like I said, I don't have to deal with it very often, but when I've had, damn. So, let's see, the last one, appreciate the small things people do for them, even ordering their food. Sometimes people get anxiety talking to other people, right? Maybe they're out and maybe they're just kind of pushing themselves to be out. But they don't want to really interact with other people, but they really want to be with whoever's at the table. So if somebody says, do you mind asking the question for me, or do you mind ordering my food for me? Don't look at them like they have 50 heads. Okay, just do it. All right, just do it for them, because like I said, anxiety is unto itself. It has, I mean, there are clinical definitions for it. But like I said, everybody's reaction to it is extremely different. So they also, in this post from Mind Body Soul UK, they also posted a meme. And it was a good meme. So it says, don't be rude when they cancel last minute. So there's a flip side to this as well. So, if somebody's you invited someone to a party at your house, or all of a sudden, they're trying, and they just can't do it. Try to be understanding. I know maybe you had a head count. I know maybe this, that, or the other, but just try to be understanding, because, it's like the number one thing says, they can't control it. They also can't control when it just decides to pop up and happen. So, and it could just be the idea of, being in a room full of people they don't know, or a room full of people they barely know, that might pop up their anxiety. Now, if you are a person with anxiety and you're not sure, maybe you're feeling this a couple days before, just let the person know that you may or may not be there. Okay, so they know whether or not to count on you. If you feel like the day before that it is just really something you don't want to do, tell them it's okay to say no. And be honest. Just say, look, you know what? My anxiety is peaking a little bit, or a lot. And if you are the person that is on the receiving end of this, don't berate them, don't belittle them. Just, again, understanding and patience. Show some compassion, because this is a person who hasn't waited until the last minute to be an asshole. They waited until the last minute because they really, really wanted to be there. They really, really wanted to see their friend or their friends. So, it's something they really wanted on the board to do. The piece of hair is going to drive me nuts. So, just try to be calm and patient. And again, like I said, if it's on the flip side and you are the person with anxiety, just know, and this is going to come up a little bit, this is going to come up in two more. Just know that you can go and leave. Okay, so don't be rude when they zone out during a conversation. Sometimes it happens. The anxiety will perk up, and they will just try to find a way to calm it down. Now, sometimes people will zone out, but believe it or not, they're still listening. Okay, I've done this where I've had to control my anxiety or control whatever was hitting me at that moment, and still, so it's like I have one ear going here, and the other ear is just like, oh my God, just calm down, like I can tell myself to calm down, but but nobody else can. So anyways, don't be rude if they accidentally zone out. Just ask them, hey, are you okay? You doing okay over there? Don't be like, oh my God, seriously, are you not listening? I've done that sometimes. And I should probably follow my own advice, because sometimes I think they're just not listening, but they may be going through some anxiety. So, and especially when people aren't honest about their mental health, you just have to navigate it. And it's kind of you got to be kind of psychic when it comes to this stuff. You got to just be like, is this just them, or are they going through something, or maybe they have, and maybe it's like, maybe they're having some kind of weird feeling. This is why, and I'll say it again, like I said last week, since this is Mental Health Month, this is why we need to end the stigma of mental health, so that we can treat each other better. We can treat each other with more understanding. We can treat each other with more compassion and patience, because we'll understand, and because this person's not afraid to say, oh, I may have a dinged up mental health, but they won't be stigmatized by their friends or family or potential people. And I haven't been on a date in so long. I'm not even sure what to do if stuff like this happens, but I'm pretty sure someone with anxiety may or may not be on a date. So if you are, just, whatever excuse you need, because I know it's not easy to just come out on the first day and go, I have mental illness. So I know you're like, oh wait, but sorry, my friend's calling, I have to go. And because that's the reaction we always expect. All right, but if you do have these problems, and it is someone you're meeting for the first time, or maybe the first or second time, or just trying to get to know them, just try to take deep breaths. You can do it without being noticed. You'd be like, yeah, you can just, like, you're talking like, or, you can be very honest. I mean, honestly, I would probably, for me, and this is me only, I'd probably be honest, because if somebody can't handle my mental health, if they can't handle me on my bad days, they don't deserve me on my good days. And that's all I can say about that. They don't deserve me on my good days, because there will be bad days. When you have a dinged up mental health, there are going to be bad days. I have a friend I was talking to, and they said their spouse struggled a little bit with their anxiety in the beginning, but they worked through it together. Now, I'm not saying that your first date is going to be the person you spend the rest of your ever loving life with, but what I'm saying is that it's your choice if you want to be honest or not. But if you're not, please don't shame yourself or guilt yourself. But eventually, if this does progress, whether it's a relationship or a friendship, you are going to have to come clean at some point. Or you're going to be that friend that cancels all the time. Or you're going to be that friend that they don't want to invite because you cancel all the time. If people are given a little bit of a heads up, as you get to know them, maybe not the first time or the second time, but as you get to know them, you probably should let them know, hey, you know what, I have a brain that's a bit squirrely, and this is how it is sometimes, and I know it can be hard, because sometimes when we're honest about our mental health, we kind of really see what people think about it and how they look at us. Some people look at us with sympathy, other people look at us like we're nuts, other people, well, no pun intended, other people will look at us like, oh, that's a lot of work, I'm out. And honestly, the only one that really has to do all the work is the person struggling with it. All you gotta do is be understanding and patient. That's not that hard. Show a little compassion, or a lot of compassion. So the next one, here we are. Leave early. If you want to go somewhere, just text your friend and say, look, or whoever, wherever you're going, thank you for inviting me. I really, really want to be there. I'm just not sure how long I'm going to last. Okay? And chances are they may or may not understand what's going on with your brain. But at least you're giving them the heads up. Hey, I really want to see you. I want to hang out for a little bit. I'm just not sure. You could say I'm not feeling well. Don't worry. It's not catchy. If you're not comfortable yet, I am not here to push people with the dinged up mental health out of their comfort zone. I'm here to push the people who do not have a dinged up mental health out of their comfort zone. Because those are the people we need to be more understanding of our mental health. Those are the people we need to see us like we are normal people who may struggle a little harder on occasion or a lot. So that's my point. If you have a dinged up mental health, I am not here to push you out of your comfort zone. If you don't have a dinged up mental health, I am here to push you out of your comfort zone, to end the stigma, to see people for exactly as they are. I'm a good person. My friends have told me I'm a fun person. At one point I was considered a social butterfly, but I do have a dinged up mental health, and there are times when I do have to deal with it. And so, like I said, I'm not here to push someone out of the comfort zone who is dealing with a dinged up mental health. I'm just trying to show others who don't how to have more understanding, patience, and compassion for people who do. All right. So the next one, if you may forget to reply to something. I can't tell you how many times I have literally thought, okay, this person's texting me. You start texting back, and then all of a sudden your brain goes in like 20 directions, right? And that can be anybody. You don't even have to have a dinged up mental health for that. I mean, I've had friends go, oh my God, I literally never pushed send, and they've screenshot it. The message is right there. It's like, I forgot to hit send. And then, so if you forget to reply, don't freak out. If it's that important, the person will text you back, and then you'll be like, oh my God, I didn't hit send. Or I totally forgot to reply. I put down my phone to get my brain back in order, and poof. And so the next one, avoid eye contact. Don't be rude if they avoid eye contact. That's kind of across the mental health umbrella. That's not just anxiety, all right? I know today for Mental Health Awareness Month, I'm focusing on anxiety and people who have anxiety. But I can be a lot of people, shy people. You don't even have to have a dinged up mental health to avoid contact. Sometimes shy people just, until they get to know you, because it's very personal to look someone in the eyes. And that's one of the things I've been trying to do as a shy person. When someone talks to me, I really, really struggle to, look them in the eye, especially when, it's like a cute guy, right? A cute guy's talking to you, or girl, or whoever is talking to you, and you're just kind of like, and then your eyes just go everywhere, right? And you're like, oh. This older sibling says that happens to her all the time. But I am doing my best to be more, connected. So, but don't force yourself, okay? Take baby steps, even if it's just with a friend. Maybe you're having coffee with a friend or dinner with a friend. Instead of looking all over, practice making eye contact with them, all right? Don't be rude when they stay home. This is the same as canceling at the last minute, all right? Sometimes people's anxiety, again, they can't control it. It can be very crippling. It just, to me, when my anxiety has peaked up. And like I said, I'm very grateful and very lucky I don't have to deal with it very often. But I have noticed that when it does peak up, it's the result of overthinking. It's the result of overthinking. So if you're like me in any way and you're starting to give yourself anxiety because you're overthinking, oh my God, stay in the present moment. Stay in this moment. Take baby steps, take little steps, but stay in this moment. Stay in this moment. Don't sit there and, try to second guess what's going to happen in the next 5 hours. Just stay in the present moment. And again, if you're not comfortable, you can always go home. All right. So, worrying excessively. Don't be rude when they worry excessively. That's the overthinking. That's their brain going into hyperdrive about everything that can possibly go wrong. And sometimes you just have to write it out with them. It can be hard. It can be hard. But you know what? Again, patience and understanding. And last but not least, ignore your call. Some people get anxiety nowadays talking on the phone, and I mean, I have to tell you, 2020 was like the best thing that ever happened for the introverted people of the world, because Zoom calls became a thing, more text messaging, more FaceTiming, you know, especially the emailing and all that, and honestly, technology with FaceTiming and texting became this huge thing for people that don't want to talk on the phone, because maybe I would say that introverted people do have a lot of anxiety. I'm not no, I'm not a trained therapist, so that's just a guess. That's just a guess. But some of the introverted people I've known in my life have had severe anxiety. And I think basically their severe anxiety was the cause of their being introverted. But you know, like I said, there's the mental health map is just so, it's everywhere. It's all over the place. There's no, like I said, there are no two maps that are the same. Everybody has a different experience. Everyone has a different journey. Even people, again, with the same diagnosis may have two very, very different experiences with their mental health. So I'm grateful because I've learned tools. I have gathered tools. But again, I really want to stress this. The only comfort zone I'm trying to push people out of are the ones who do not have a dinged up mental health. And I'm not trying to be a bitch when I say that. What I'm trying to do is to help you open your eyes to see that what they're going through isn't easy. It takes a lot of strength for some of these people, or for every one of these people, to get through a day. You know, think about the times, if you don't have a dinged up mental health, think about the times that you've grieved over something. Maybe a fur baby passed away, maybe a family member or a friend passed away, maybe someone moved away, maybe you changed jobs, maybe a relationship ended, you know, something along those lines that just made you feel sad. And then eventually, you know, the feeling starts to subside. If it's someone who's passed away, you don't get over it, or a fur baby that's passed away, you don't get over it, but you learn to live with it, right? But if it's like a relationship or a job, or, you know, someone moves away, but you still keep in touch, but you don't see each other all the time, the sadness is going to dissipate, okay, in those situations. And now imagine that the feeling doesn't go away. You're at your worst feeling, and you're just like, gosh, when is this going to just heal? When is this going to go away? Now, in a way, this probably isn't the best example, but when you're feeling at your saddest, when you're feeling at your lowest, that's what people with depression deal with. Some people on a daily basis, where their brain is just in hyperdrive. And I call it, you know, your brain is lying to you. Or we're shamed into not having a good day. I remember there were times when I was at work and I would just really, really be struggling. And I had to do the fake it till you make it. And people would walk by, hey, you're not as chirpy as you normally are. You okay? Yeah, I'm great. You know, it's like I'm just having a day. That's all. I'm just having a day. And everybody has that, right? Everybody has a day. So you just say, I'm just having a day. And for some people, it's enough. Other people, it's like, oh, well, it's hard not seeing you so happy. It's hard not seeing you so chipper. It's hard you not, you know, asking us how we're all doing, and, you know, and just taking care of our problems. And it can get a little overwhelming because you feel like you're being pushed out of your comfort zone because people can't accept that you're having a bad day, that you're not as perky as you normally are. And that can be hard. That can be hard. So, you know, if somebody just says to you, hey, I'm just having a bit of a day today, check on them. Don't say, hey, why aren't you smiling? Why aren't you, you know, what's wrong? Why are you angry? Are you stressed? No, just say, hey, if they're saying, oh, I'm just having a day today. Well, you know what? I hope you feel better. I hope it gets better. And I'm here if you want a hug or a talk, or, you know, I mean, it's a workplace, so you kind of got to ask first. But where I used to work, hugs were not a bad thing. So, but yeah, so, you know, just show some compassion, understanding, and patience. So again, this came from Mind, Body, Soul, SOLE UK on Twitter, and this was their personal perspective about anxiety. I really wanted to share it because, like I said, it's Mental Health Month. We're halfway through the month, and I think the more of the things that we cover, the more understanding we can show people. I'm just giving you the basics. Last week was the basics of depression and what it can lead up to. And today it was anxiety. But there's a huge umbrella out there. And, they're coming up with new discoveries all the time. There's PTSD. There's, and I know some people struggle with the idea of PTSD, but I will tell you, and now they have CPTSD for people who were either in abusive relationships, were abused as children, or emotionally and physically abused, period. So it covers a whole different type of mindset, but these things do exist, and they're very, very real. And what it basically is, especially the PTSD, it's just your brain re-traumatizing you over and over and over again, like an ugly loop. Think of it as like Groundhog's Day, right? Has anybody seen that movie Groundhog's Day with Bill Murray and Andie MacDowell, where he just keeps reliving the day over and over and over again until he changes his attitude, until he realizes that the world does not revolve around him. He's just a part of the world that's revolving around everyone. But it just lost my train of thought. Like I said, I'm still coming out of that fog that I've been in, that mental fog I've been in. But yeah, PTSD. Oh, there was PTSD. It's just your brain on a loop, and some people struggle with that. And it's people who've been through severely traumatizing events. If somebody's in a plane crash and they survive, not only do they have survivor's guilt, but now they have PTSD of the moment everyone started panicking, the moment everything seemed to go sideways, the moment all those things dropped down from the ceiling and you're just praying that you're still alive. And then maybe you're in the wreckage for a while, waiting for, hoping, praying, willing someone to find you. And people can dream about this for a long time. Maybe you see something horrible that happens. And it may not have happened to you, but you might see something horrible that happens. And it might be so devastating and so traumatizing that can just loop itself in your head. And I do feel that there is potential ways to kind of put the stick in that wheel to stop it from spinning so much, stop it from looping. But, people have to ask for that help themselves. And, I'm sure it would take some very intensive therapy to move through whatever it is that's traumatizing them and causing these things. So, maybe we'll talk about that tomorrow. PTSD and CPTSD. I'm not sure yet. I have a busy day today. And so, sometime this week, we will probably talk about it. But I just want to cover a lot of the basic things that people understand about mental health. Like I said, last week we did depression, understanding the symptoms, and seeing the signs, and how to potentially get somebody help if, they're open to it. You cannot force people to do anything. And then again, we ended those topics last week with suicide. And I know I wish there was a better way to put it. Taking your own life, or life-ending results of depression. I don't know how. There's not a prettier word for it, but it's not a pretty act, and it's a pretty devastating end. So but we talked about that and how to not stigmatize people, whether they've had who've either successfully, and I don't mean successfully in a good way, but who have successfully attempted to take their own life, or successfully took their own life. I know that's not really the proper word, but I'm just the finality of it, or near attempts, or attempts. So, because we can still stigmatize people who have passed on, and people still do stigmatize people who passed on. So, we have to work through that to not do that, because I think, like I said, even if we're able to save one person, that one person may go on to share their story and save somebody else, who might go on to share their story and save somebody else. So you're a ripple effect. Whether you have a dinged up mental health or not, you can create a beautiful ripple effect of helping people choose the healing. And like I said, if somebody, like I said on Thursday, if somebody does pass on, then, just understand that it's a very personal choice. And it was not a choice that was just made easily. Some people do it to escape, retribution. Like I said, my brain's in a fog. Some people do it to escape facing what they've done wrong. But other people who have struggled, it's usually, I know a lot of times it can be a snap decision. A lot of times it could be a choice and then they just did it. So there's a lot of different things. And one of the reasons I'm bringing that up is because anxiety can drive people to that very final moment. So, just as depression can. So, and PTSD. So, like I said, again, we'll talk about that probably sometime this week. All right. I'm not going to say for sure when. It may be tomorrow. It may not be. But I'm going to try to do some homework on that and give you a little bit of insight into that so people understand it a little bit more. Because I know, a lot of terms nowadays just get thrown around like, candy coming out of a piñata. So, but if we can sit down and pinpoint and narrow down little aspects of these things, we might help people to understand it a little bit better. So again, or I don't even know if it's again, but have a wonderful day. I know some of these subjects are heavy and then I sit there and go, hey, have a wonderful day after I sit here and inundated your mind with all this crappy stuff. But just understand, this is how some people's minds work. And if the sooner we end the stigma, the sooner we can get people help, the sooner we stop, stigmatizing our reactions to how people are, the sooner we can help them get help. So again, patience, understanding, kindness, compassion, all those wonderful things are things that we can do to help people get the help they need and to break the stigma, end the stigma, stop the stigma, whichever hashtag you want to use, or all three. Okay, so again, have a great day, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see everybody back here tomorrow for Tuesday Thoughts. Facebook Live, 8:30 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time, Standard Time, Pacific Time, California Time. Facebook Live. All lives are public. I do share these to my Facebook page and my YouTube page, the Aloha Perspective. And if you follow me on Twitter, you will probably see these. I also do a TikTok every day, on Monday through Friday, of daily affirmations. So, again, have a great day. Thank you so much for watching. And, just go out there and be kind to somebody. And one last time, happy birthday, older sibling.